Is there anything a parent can do to help encourage walking? I'm curious about those baby walkers I've seen for sale online, but are they a help or a hindrance for healthy development?
Well, I did see that you did mention something about baby walking, so it's really important. There's this type of baby walker, and then there's this type of baby walker. Oops. So this one can be plastic or wooden, but basically it's a toy that your baby has to pull themselves up to stand and push to. They have to use their own muscle forces and their own sort of strength and motivation to generate that power to walk the walker. You don't need a baby walker. You can just use an upside down washing basket or a cardboard box, or lots of babies will just push anything that can slide along the floor. These ones, which are the almost seated, where you put baby in a seat and there's wheel, like a square around the seat with wheels on each corner. That's a wheeled walker. They're banned in Canada and they're not recommended in Australia. From the perspective, well, there's a few different perspectives, but the main reason why they're banned is the wheels around the edges catch on electrical cords, changes in surfaces, anything on the floor, and they tip. And there's been a number of fractures and incidences where babies have hurt themselves because they can't get out of, like, they're falling from like a force. So they're banned in Canada and they're not recommended in Australia. I'm not sure about America, but like, we have stairs, so it would never be a go in our house anyway. The other thing that we have to think about with this one is it's a container that a baby is placed in, and they're not using their own muscle forces to get in to choose to walk. So often they're being put in there a little bit earlier than they should be, which can, depending on the size of the seat that they're sitting in, can impact their hip development. But also they might be up on their toes a little bit. And often the boxes of these types of walkers and standers, just the regular standers, which I don't mind, but they will say on the box, on the label, baby should be on their toes. And I think that is a statement of sort of covering to make sure that baby isn't weight bearing through their feet too early and protecting that hip development, whereas we don't want them on their toes from a physical therapy point of view. We want them on their feet and being able to weight bear through their feet. But if they're being put in at 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 months, that's too early for their hip development and their body and their postural control, their head control and their trunk control. And so that's why the label says toes. But I don't love those ones, and I don't really love putting bub in a standing device before 7. They have to be confidently taking weight through their feet themselves. We used a stander with my older son for about 2 hours before he figured out how to climb out of it, and then it was too dangerous to use. So he's a bit of one of those ones that has a lot of internal motivation. So he was standing in it quite happy, and then he was like, I'm bored, and so he just climbed out and nearly smacked his head on the tiles. So that wasn't, you've got to consider that factor as well, that babies can climb out of them if they want to.